How's it going, everyone? Luxeley here. Yes, my channel is named after my hunter, but I do play Shadow Priest Viserion, named after the Game of Thrones dragon. And I really do like Shadow Priest now. It's growing on me. It's a very different gameplay. You have to kind of work in your mind controls every now and then and hope for procs on your Void Tendrils and abuse the hell out of the Psi feed and kind of be preemptive with those slows. But in this particular battleground, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, there's 5 warriors, which is basically half of my team of warriors. So that kind of makes me happy. If I had to face 5 warriors, I'd probably AFK out. But watch some of the tactics here that I employ. And one thing that I often get upset about in RPGs is the fact that healers are usually behind the enemy lines. Now, when you have a target caller who's most likely a melee, right? He's going to go in and he's going to attack the healers. Now, if I'm Mr. Ranged, who's a glass cannon, and believe me, Shadow Priests are truly glass cannons, ask who numero uno target is in 2s and 3s, it's the Shadow Priest. Unquestionably. So when you have to go into the fray, what happens is you're putting yourself in the face of the opposing team's melee, which means you're dead if you don't trust your healers. And a lot of times I don't trust my healers. So that is a big problem with RBG target callers that just don't get that concept, which is why I am not necessarily targeting the 2 monks who are the 2 healers. I'm off in the distance, basically having sex with this windmill here, but the windmill's my friend. I don't want to get that up close, because when I do get that up close, then the melee are going to take advantage, and then I'm going to have some big problems. But we're already 2 minutes into this particular battleground, and see, watch what happens. I got in a little too close there, and we're only talking about maybe 10 yards from where I was playing when I was behind the house or by the windmill. Just that extra 10 yards makes a big difference to warrior charges. Now, the difference here is very evident, because this shaman would have wrecked me. That enhancement shaman would have wrecked me, but he didn't, because simply my warrior charged in and took care of the shaman, which meant that I'm still able to free cast, and now I'm focusing the healer because the opportunity is there, and we're putting all kinds of pressure, and it's going to be thanks for playing silence dead. Once you get that silence and you know you have them interrupted and they're that low on health, they're pretty much going to go down. Now the enhancement shaman, if he had full health, I'd be very scared, but he doesn't, and now he's down, and now you have a warlock, a warrior, and a rogue. But that's my point. I can't tell you how many times I've been in RBGs where the melee target caller just goes right into the fray and calls the target of the healers, which means that your ranged or casters have to go up front and they're in the face of the opposing team's melee, and that's not a good scenario. I've seen that occur many times. Let me know if you guys know what I'm talking about if you do RBGs. And I'm just trying to stress here positioning. As you notice, when I was by that little windmill and I was by the hut, nobody was bothering me. As soon as I went 10 yards in closer to the flag, the warrior charged in. My warrior charged in, and they met head on. And that was a good thing for me and a bad thing for their warrior. But now we're already about 3 minutes into the match, almost 4 minutes into the match. And guess what? We still haven't capped Waterworks, nor have they. This is actually really good gameplay. They keep coming back with a healer here, and as I don't know if you guys can see in chat, but one of our players was saying, "Hey, where's our healer?" And he, of course, is sitting at Lighthouse. That's one thing I don't get. Guys, if you're a healer, don't sit at Lighthouse, don't sit at Stables unless you're ahead in the game. If it's an even match or you're ahead in the game, well, not even if it's an even match. If you're down or it's an even match, you should not be where the action isn't. You should be charging in, looming in, and leading the charge and healing your teams where you need it. The Horde often do that. That's a big reason why the Horde, I think, maybe not be better, but they're certainly more experienced. They usually cluster together with healers at a base. At the start of this match, both their healers were here and our healers weren't, and that's the damage. I just can't help but constantly look at the damage. I see the little demon hunter there hiding, and of course the enhancement shaman, you know, he's like, fuck this, I'm gonna charge in, I don't give a shit. And we see what happens to him. Yeah, it's thanks for playing for him. See, I got a proc of the Void Tendrils, and I had the Siphene up, which incidentally reduces healing. I'm not sure the exact amount, but it's significant, noticeable. So the combination of that with a Mind Flay. Plus, it gives you the mobility to pop a bubble, or not a little bubble, small bubble. It's not a big paladin bubble like the bubble I wish I had, the bubble maybe I won't get for Christmas. But when you pop that power word shield, you get that little extra speed boost, and what ends up happening, you're in a situation where you have your proc and you have the Siphene slowing the target, so now you have some mobility. Perfect time to use that mobility. So we're up 2 bases to 1. It's a pretty good match, 400 to roughly 200. We're approaching 500, 300. So we're up by about 130, 140, 50 points. Yeah, I know, big deal. Okay, looking at the damage. Tough guy. It's not all about the damage. Now I see one of them over there. He's thinking about, maybe I should attack Waterworks. I think I should attack Waterworks. Sometimes it's just a lone wolf. Sometimes he's just waiting for a rogue or some other stealthy to sneak in. And now there's 2 of them kind of thinking, maybe we should attack Waterworks. What do you think? Now there's 3 of them. Now, okay, now it's time to, okay, let's broadcast it. Let's let everybody know Waterworks incoming. I hate typing. I just hate typing in Battlegrounds. And they have a healer, so yeah, good thing I popped that in. Some people showing up. I don't know why that bear is all the way over there doing nothing. Yeah, now he's coming back into the fight. Good. Okay. See, look at all that healing is. That Mistweaver monk is getting Solaris. Cool name, by the way. Bad movie, cool name. So those are my thoughts on the monk. But yeah, they kind of got a pretty decent assault up, but it wasn't just quite enough. It looks like they have both their healers here. If you see a monk, it's a healer. So they brought both their healers and a rogue. If they had a little bit more DPS, it probably would have been a better opportunity for them, but they didn't have that extra DPS. So I'm assuming Lighthouse is okay right now, just simply because both the healers are here. Now, once again, here's the Horde. See, I just got a good mind control on her just simply because I want the dots to kick in, and I don't want her to be able to heal through that. And I brought it to me so I could get the quick Psychic Scream on her, and boom. That's one big reason why I choose Psychic Scream there, because it just kind of disorients them, and the other healer is bailing. So now, I don't know if you could see this, but someone typed in chat. I guess I edited that part out, but someone typed in chat that the Warriors are kicking ass. We have 5 Warriors. They're the reason we're winning, blah, 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 blah. Meanwhile, forget about the Shadow Priest that has top kills, top damage, and is just wrecking everybody. No, he's irrelevant. But I want to make a point. And the point is that the Warriors, because there's 5 Warriors, what they're doing, they are engaging the Horde's melee. Which means that the Horde melee are not in my face. Like you saw earlier at Waterworks. A warrior charged up to me, my warrior charged into him. An enhancement shaman came after me, one of my warriors came after him. That freed me up. That helped me get away from them and put distance and gave me the opportunity to do big damage. So even though the warriors aren't out damaging me or out killing me, what they're doing is they're creating that opportunity for me to do what I'm doing. And that is the true mark of teamwork. And it takes 5 warriors to do this, but it's working. As you can see, I got top kills, top damage, but that is largely a result of the fact that my 5 warriors are engaging their melee, which frees me up. And that's a fact. That's just the way it works. And I think that that's a very good use of melee, and that's something that's going by the wayside right now because melee damage is pretty huge, and basically melee damage says just let melee do the damage. And in the past, and WoW in the past, and this goes back prior to Warlords of Drain All the Fun, even a little bit in Warlords of Drain All the Fun, but what you saw happening was melee would engage melee, and it would free up your casters to sit back and do damage. And that is changing now. That is changing very rapidly. And as a caster, as a DPS caster, I ain't liking it, folks. But whatever. It's still WoW PvP. It's got a long way to fall from the top. Sooner or later, we're going to hit the bottom, and WoW's going to scratch their head and realize, shit, we got to fix this. We got to fix this. Or maybe they don't, because there are other titles, such as Heroes of the Storm, Hearthstone, and Overwatch doing very well on Twitch, doing very well as esports, and maybe they're not quite as motivated. Or maybe it kicks in their brain and they say to themselves, hey, we got to get WoW up to par. We got to get it up higher on the Twitch boards. We got to get it higher as a more respected esport, more spectators, and maybe it motivates them. I honestly don't know. We will see what happens, but I just wanted to dredge up that point as we have to try to take over Waterworks again, and I don't know where the healer went. I saw him a second ago, and he just kind of disappeared. But we lost Waterworks, but we have a good lead. We have a 500-point lead, which is very, very difficult for them to overcome at this point. If you have the lead and you're over 800 points, it's very and you like, let's say if it's a 500 to 300, that 500 points is kind of easy to overcome. Not easy, but it is overcomeable, which isn't really a word, I know. But if you have 1200 to 700 and that kind of lead, and you only have one base, it's difficult for them to overcome that without taking another base. So chances are we're going to probably pull this out even with one base, but we are still very focused here on trying to get now Solaris pops the cocoon again, all kinds of heals, but just everybody's focusing the healer, which is good. There are other DPSs having some technical difficulties, so to speak. Hunter's going defensive. That's because the healer can't heal, and we took care of the healer, so now we should be in good shape. The problem is that guy right there. He's a tank, so he's going to be difficult to kill. We shouldn't have much of a difficulty taking the warrior down at very low health at this point, or the hunter, but this tank is going to be a son of a bitch to kill. So what I do is, just so we get an opportunity to try to cap it, is just mind control him away, and it was just perfectly timed, and it worked out well. So it's these little nuances that, as a Shadow Priest, particularly mind control, where to use it, when to use it. I should probably make a video on it. Maybe eventually I will. But that's the key. That's the key. That's the strength of a priest. And it's just a very different play style than it was in WoD. I still prefer the WoD Shadow Priest without a question. I mean, I like it a lot more than I do the Legion Shadow Priest. But the reason I came back to my Shadow Priest, and by all means, Blizzard totally wrecked two of my favorite classes. The two classes I've played the most since, I'd say, the beginning of MoP, which is Shadow Priest and Hunter. Totally wrecked them, as far as I'm concerned. They took away the traps from Hunters, and they made Shadow Priest a lot less fun with some of the abilities they took away. So I started visiting other classes that I played in the past, some classes that I never played before, open mind, tackle them, see them, and then I realized across the board, everybody feels like they're lacking something. Everybody feels like they're missing something when it comes to classes in Legion. So if I'm going to play a class and it's going to be lacking, because I tried Druid, I tried Warlock, I do like them, but I'm not in love with them. So if I'm going to be playing lacking, might as well play something I know and adjust my game, which is what I'm doing, and playing a Shadow Priest. And thanks for the Warriors, been able to do big damage, get a lot of kills. Thanks for watching, everybody. This is Luxley saying, whatever it is by you, morning, afternoon, or night, make it epic. Luxley out.